This forum does not reflect the official opinion of the Corn Mafia Guild. Rather, it serves as a platform for members and guests to express their individual perspectives and opinions. We hope to create an environment where a variety of topics and conversations can take place, ultimately enriching the experience of our members and guests. We value and respect diverse opinions, and we encourage all to engage in respectful discourse.
Today's topic is child labor farms and cheaters in play-to-earn games. I want to bring up a fact that I've watched quite a few videos, and I sent Fryler some videos. It didn't really have to pertain to child labor farms in particular, but we did have one video that kind of shed some light on things like with Axie Infinity and things like that. So I'm going to start it off by saying I think there's going to be a problem with third world countries or countries that don't have labor laws for children, that this may be a problem in play-to-earn games. And I know some people might think, well, they're not, they don't make any money. Their families don't make any money, so it's probably better for them to do this and some other kind of crazy things that they do in countries that have no.
I thought I wasn't allowed to say that, Stein.
Well, okay, Fowler's the one that said he's for it. How's that? He's for it. He's for child labor.
But I think there was a little bit of a misconception, but I wasn't.
Well, I didn't bring up your name. I didn't bring up your name.
I know, but
you just did. So.
You were like, you almost canceled the whole space because you're like, oh, you can't have you spouting off your pro-child labor propaganda. But I think it's nuanced. I think, of course, if there's a case where people were, sweatshopping these kids and forcing them to work and they didn't want to, I think that would be obviously a very bad situation. I just also thought that there's another side of that coin too, which is opportunity, and for people in impoverished or third world countries, the money that they make from these games would be a lot more than it's going to be to us in like a Western country. Here in America, you're going to make probably a meager amount of money, where in these other countries you could possibly make, life-altering amount of money in the instance of just being able to provide sustenance for your family, So I think that there was just both sides of the coin to look at. Of course, I think protecting the children is probably more important, but it's not all.
I mean, and I had brought up to this point when we had discussed the topic last week is, people are not happy with, child labor laws across the world, or at least in the United States. They're not really too happy about it. But the problem is we have children making phones and doing things like that. And I guess you could say, yeah, they don't have any money, so it's good, but then they don't have a childhood. So I don't know. I know in America we used to have child labor. That's why we came up with a child labor law, because back in, the 18th century, early 19th, or 1900s, that we had a problem with that. And I don't know. I worked when I was a kid for my father. So I don't know.
I feel like we went from one extreme to the other, like children working during the Industrial Revolutions, children working in like cobalt mines and in unsafe conditions. I mean, that's just, that shouldn't be allowed anywhere, in my opinion. But at the same time, I feel like kids are capable of more than just going to school. But like you said, you got to balance that childhood, right? Children should be out there exploring and having fun and enjoying their time, because you're not going to get that chance again like you get during childhood. But at the same time, you still have opportunity to learn and work and grow stronger and build skills at a young age. So it's a fine line.
Well, it is a fine line. But, if you're going to work for a farm where they have hundreds of computers or cell phones with a bunch of people in it, and they're going to pay you just enough money to get food for you to live for that day, so you can make them more money, I think that's pretty fucked up. I think it is, and I think that's going to happen because there's no regulations in some of these countries,
All right. I would love to chime in here because here's the way I feel about it. Anytime there is the ability to make a lot of money, someone is going to find a way to exploit people. If in regards to gaming, if gaming wasn't around, if play to earn wasn't around, they would just be exploiting them some other way. And so I don't think we can say, this play to earn model of gaming is going to make it run rampant. It's already running rampant with sneaker shops and t-shirt shops and things like that. So I think we have to put the onus on, the governments or the regulators, the people that are making these laws, educating the world on where these things are taking place. But I don't think that we can look at play to earn gaming as like a culprit here. Anyway, just my 2 cents.
I agree with that a lot because I don't think that we're creating the problem, but could be potentially lending to it, like you're both saying.
Well, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think we can say that they're the culprit. That's not what the thing is. I'm just wondering if it's going to be a problem. If we say we're in a game.
Absolutely.
Say we're in a game and we have property or farms or stuff like that, and the people that can run them or work the farms are children that are being basically forced to do that, and we don't know about it. I mean, it's kind of a weird subject, but it's a subject that I thought needed to be brought up.
I'm wondering if there is, because I agree with you that there's always that potential, right? I'm wondering, is there anything that we could do, or gamers or the studios who make these could do on their end as some sort of engineering control to help mitigate that?
I don't think so. Not unless you had a virtual identity, right?
Right. And that's what I was kind of leaning towards, like a digital identity that's required to log in for these play to earn features. Like you could maybe play the game without play to earn, but if you want play to earn, you'd have to at least prove that you're 18 or something, or
that might be hard.
Something. I don't know if that is specifically, of course, because that's the first idea I tossed out of my rodent brain. But I'm sure somebody out there with their genius intellect could, come up with some solution to help mitigate, at least, maybe not even entirely, do away with.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's possible.
Because I was thinking, like in that one video you showed me, and again, this isn't labor farms, but it's still in that vein of exploiting children. Did we get Empire as a speaker? Really? It went through.
Nice.
Okay.
Maybe we're not having a problem this week with it.
Well, I'll make this quick then and let her get to what she was going to say, since she's been sitting on it for 2 weeks. But so in that other video that I watched, it was on the Valve company who owns Steam or whatever. And so they have these skins on their site. It's hosted on their server, so it's not really like an NFT. But what happens is they have these backdoor sites that people can go to, and they can gamble these skins that are worth money. They could sell the skins for real currency and stuff on these other sites if you go away from the Steam platform. So essentially what happens is children are getting funneled over, and children are gambling and getting addicted to gambling. So I think in the same instance right there, you could use digital identity to combat that. Maybe that's kind of where my thought process was with engineering controls.
But it's all on Web3, and it's
well, and that's why I think that we have the advantage, because that stuff's all on Web 2.
Right, but who's going to want a digital identity? Who's going to want to put their identity out there like that? That's why we're having a big problem with that. People want to have digital identities, or companies want to. I don't know. Somebody wants to. Governments definitely want to.
You could have digital identity without doing like the full KYC that other people are so concerned about. But I mean, honestly, if I know we're not even talking about that, but for me, myself, I'm not concerned at all. I'm a tax-paying citizen. You can know my shit. I don't care.
Let me bring up. I'm wondering if everybody watched that video that I put out. I put out a Penguins. He had a video on Dr. Disrespect in his game. And I don't know if you all want to raise your hand or give me a heart if you had watched that, because I posted that through my my Twitter account, Stein, and it was a 10-minute video, and that's where I came up with this basically this subject, and it wasn't. There was a lot of cheating going on, or could have cheating going on in games, and then he was talking about, basically labor farms. I guess he didn't say it in that way, but it was a very interesting video. Freiler had watched it, and I believe Seven had watched it too. And there goes Seven. He's gone.
He has left the building.
Every time you bring up Seven's name and Seven, pow, he's gone.
I was going to say, I was just about to mention that. I was like, it's like the cue. He's like, oh, someone said my name. I'm out.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. Go ahead, Scruff.
Oh, I was really just raising my hand saying that I did watch that video, but I'll talk a quick little bit about it. I watched him, and I thought he was maybe a smidge overboard on some things. He did bring up some points, but these are not new things. The guys from Cornucopias have talked about this. Other gamers, this has been going on for a long time. All of these problems, like you said, since the Axie Infinity days. I credit Axie, honestly, for essentially pointing out all the problems that a game could have moving forward, so that these people developing games that are coming out now and in the next few years kind of have a roadmap of what not to do, or where to put some anti-cheating or anti-child labor or some of these various mechanisms in there. I found, I did not find it. I have to give credit to Kef. Kef sent me a video yesterday about a new AI that looks at cheating. And the guy starts off by talking about cheating in FPS games. But then they go on to explain they can literally look at human behavior and in all aspects of gaming, from, what lines you take, to your trading styles, to your building styles, to all these various things. And they actually have an interview with a guy that has built this AI, and it's called like Any Game or something like that. I tweeted it out just before or right at the start of here. If you guys would like, I will pin that to the top, because it is fascinating, and they say it's 99% accurate. And I'm going, boy, if you can find a solution to cheating that's 99% accurate and it covers pretty much all aspects of games, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. Let me put it that way.
That would be really cool to see, actually, because I was just having a thought in my head before that I was going to suggest as well, is that if we could use these AIs to find those loopholes, because we also use it to defend against them. So that's a really interesting concept.
Yeah. Empire has her hand up. Go ahead, Empire.
I was just asking, actually, the question to chat. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I asked the question to chat GPT, and it gave a few solutions, actually, to that issue. So that's the point that Scruffy had, and you said, Freiler, about having some bots or AI trained to pick up those activities. But it says like the ChatGPT at least gives some ideas with the IP address tracking, device tracking, and activity monitoring and blockchain tracking. So you have a few options there, I feel, that could be activities implemented. But it says like the
Sorry, keep going. I think you're clear again.
Okay, so it chopped me off at there. Okay, that's okay.
But yeah, that would be really cool. Definitely. So I don't understand any of the technicals behind it, but I imagine that they could probably, like you said, look at the IP address and then see if there was like a bunch of people all using it, do you think? I probably shouldn't even venture guesses out here. I'm just showing my ignorance to all things computer. But yeah, thank you for that. That we should have just asked ChatGPT from the beginning.
ChatGPT, I gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
So yeah, let's we in that video put out by I think his name is Penguins, right? Is that his name?
Quit giving him promos. His name is not important.
Well, I want it because I watched a bunch of videos, so I have to say which one.
But I agree with Freiler. I was less than impressed with him personally. I kind of thought he went off the rails a little bit.
And I agree with you. What sucks is you have people like him that have 12.5 million viewers, and they're out here making bombastic claims without using any supporting facts or numbers, you know what I mean? And so it just gets everyone just scared. So now there's 12 million gamers, our target audience, that are just being fudded into oblivion by this guy because all games are going to be botted and cheated, and there's $100,000 on the line, you guys. No, I'm going to cheat. And it's like, oh my God, calm down and get a haircut, buddy.
Yeah, and he's spreading the anti-NFT deal because essentially he's like, oh, I really thought he had a good idea, but he had to make it an NFT game. And all that does is continue, like he said, the FUD as far as NFTs. These are the reasons why gamers don't want to come over to NFTs, because they're sheep and they don't do the research and read and they just listen to people like this. And I don't know. I actually felt he did more harm for Web3 gaming than a lot of other videos I've seen out there.
I agree, just because of that same sentiment. And he had a good point. You could raise those concerns, but it's the way you raise it and being fair in your evaluation. The other thing I want to point out, too, while we're still on that topic is, and it sucks because you see it everywhere. I watch a video and it has so much, a nugget of good in there, but really it's just like slandering our whole industry, too. The other video that Stein shared with me that was about looking into that whole, underage gambling and thing. The guy was really intelligent. He had a really good premise and he was doing a really great job in the video. But partway through, he went on to say that, the CSGO skins were actually the very first NFT ever made. And it was just, goes on to show that NFTs are actually just a brain dead, reach at trying to have a use case for crypto and that there's just nothing there. And it's like, that is just such an unfair statement to make, like you're not using any real facts. NFTs are more than just collectibles. It's way more than that. And it sucks because it presents it to the audience like it's just such an obvious and stupid and brain dead thing. And then people are going to take it at face value and move on. And they'll never look into it another second to see that that's just totally wrong. And it sucks because I feel like in this case, at the second person, I felt like he was really intelligent himself. And it's like, how did you come to that conclusion? You weren't willing to do due diligence. It's something like NFTs and scams has got people so turned off to the idea that they won't even look into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like flat earth to them. They just hear it and they immediately start laughing and joking. And it's a joke to them, and it's unfortunate. Sorry to go off on a tangent there about that. But
no, I agree with you. I don't mind if somebody shows their work and they can make a compelling argument. And like you said, the points he raised, we should be thinking about. Absolutely 100% agree with that. I'm not discounting the subject matter, but like you said, sometimes it's all in the packaging.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, now we're done with NFTs. I guess we can. I guess we can talk about, when we. What about cheating? How are we going to combat cheating in the game? Is there any way to combat cheating? I mean,
I pinned a video to the top that I realize you're not going to watch during the. I know. I'm just saying that this solution or another solution like it seems to be what gamers are going to, or what game developers are going to have to implement in the future. I don't know if it'll be this one. This one looks pretty darn good, but some sort of anti-cheating mechanism. And it may be game dependent. It may be genre dependent. But yeah, I think absolutely they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching that video because I think it's going to be, like you said, more on the engineering control side of things. But without having any knowledge of what that could be, it's just, empty space in my head. But yeah, I think, obviously we're going to have to do something about cheaters because they're going to try, especially when there's money at stake, right?
I'm wondering, like, if we're playing a game like Cornucopias, say that game, how will cheating even happen in that game? Can we put our minds together and think of a way that you could cheat in that game? Because I'm not really sure how that would be done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like an outright cheat, or would they consider just like exploits and labor farms and things like that on the verge of cheating? You know.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, are they going to be like, can you rob people in the game?
I actually reached out to Rob, oddly enough, in a Twitter space one time, asking that exact question, right? And they, at that point in time, this was about 6 months ago, and they hadn't fully decided, right? They saw both pros and cons of that. Now, what I gathered just kind of from what he was saying, and this is by no means any kind of, proclamation, but it sounded to me like in the beginning you would not be able to rob people and rob resources. However, maybe later on in the game, if you were outside those safe zones, if you guys remember looking at the map in the Kopi wiki of the sectors, it talks about safe zones, and when a bunch of people are huddled together, you create these concentric bubbles essentially of safety. Once you go outside those, I know they're going to have it for like NPC animals and things like that. But eventually, my guess, based on what they were saying, is they may implement some sort of looting system if you're outside that safety zone. Meaning, if you don't want to go outside that safety zone, you don't have to. It sounds like you can play different parts of the game and be out there. Obviously, I would assume they would implement some sort of storage units so you could store your precious gear at home and then go out adventuring or something like that so you don't lose all your good stuff. Again, it sounds like in the beginning, definitely no robbing, possibly robbing in the future, but unconfirmed.
Robbing. Salt and battery, please. No,
well, we did see the cop car NFT. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, right?
There will be crime.
It's like, yeah, I hope that's not just for speeding, right? They make a vehicle that can do 700 kilometers an hour or whatever, but then they got a cop car. I don't understand. But I think we'll get. Let's change the subject just a little bit today, because I feel like some of these topics that we bring up are kind of tough. Now, when I sent for all of these other videos, they were talking about gambling, and I hope we can pivot a little bit to the subject that's not in the title. When Frilo was talking about the CS:GO being the first, basically NFTs, because people were selling their skins and their gear and stuff like that, and they got these third-party sites that are like gambling, if I got that correct. Is that correct, Freiler?
Yeah, and real quick, it's probably a small point to clarify, but that guy was saying that they were the first NFTs, but I disagree with him because they stayed on that server and you never gained control.
Well,
but,
I think he was being...
he doesn't have a positive opinion of NFTs, so he obviously doesn't see the nuance there in ownership, but...
Well, that's here.
I digress.
That's here nor there,
Neither here nor there.
Right? So
but while we're changing...
Well... Oh, I was just going to say, the other thing going back to that video is he was talking about like a single NFT worth $100,000 going to get it.
Oh, we're talking about
that's a little
video.
bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about the thing guy.
No,
my bad.
I had sent Freiler another video.
But Scruffy played the reverse card, and now we're talking about the last video.
Oh, I know.
Well, I'm lost now, guys. I apologize. I don't know what you guys would. like to discuss at the moment.
I know, it's horrible.
Nothing to see here. Move on.
Everybody, let's go to another space. No,
Well,
go ahead.
sorry, but to what Scruffy was saying, real quick while we're reverbing, that's a really good point, because that comes back to the last question that Stein had, which was, how do you physically cheat in the game? And so when he was talking about Dr. Disrespect's game, for those that didn't watch the video who don't know, they will be loot items in game that you have to extract with. So basically my takeaway is, to get the NFT out of the game, you have to acquire it while playing on the map, and then you have to kill everyone else and get off the map alive and keep it. So during that game, you could find a really rare item and it's really rare. And so you're holding it just sweaty palms, hoping you make it out, because if you don't extract with this item, you're not getting it, So that answers the question of, how are people going to cheat in that game? They're going to use aim bots and invincibility spells or whatever, you know what I mean, to make sure that they're always the one that extracts. And they'll probably, I don't know, I imagine use some sort of like decoder to find out if an item's good or where it could be in the map. Again, just speculating because I know nothing of technology, but yeah.
No, everything you said is in that video that I posted. Honestly, they talk about aimbots. They talk about, ones that allow you to see through walls and find loots and run straight to it and stuff like that. So no, I think you had it dead on. That's exactly how they're going to cheat in that game. And they estimated in the video that I watched that 1 out of every 3 people is cheating if you hop online and play, especially like again, they started off with FPS, so I can't remember if the numbers were across all gaming or just FPS. But when we look at it and real money is on the line, yeah, obviously they're gonna be even more incentivized. Although this has been going on for a long time, right? Ever since the WoW days, where technically it was against the terms of service, but people would go sell their gold and their loot and their armors and swords and things like that on third-party websites. Guess what? There were cheaters doing it then, and they put in as many mechanisms. Look, you're never going to stop 100% of the people, but you want to stop as many as you can to make it a fair and level playing field for everybody. Right. And when money's involved, it's going to expand exponentially.
I think the only person that we're not going to be able to stop is Leroy Jenkins. I think that's going to be a problem in the game. Leroy Jenkins. Oh my God.
Yeah. The other one that I thought of too is, of course, since there'll be daily rewards, there'll be people trying to bot the system just to have bots out there just farming all our rewards away from us, which, hopefully they'll obviously implement fixes to stop people from doing that. But that would really suck too, because they're going to come in here and try to take all the daily rewards from us and lessen the pot. It's going to be hard for cornucopias to keep up, I imagine, because they have so many different ways to be rewarded. There's so many different areas for scammers and people to try to dig in and find a chink in their armor,
Yeah. Well, that brings us back to our old one. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Scruff.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say to his point, I have in the past, I used to play a mobile game. It was a Final Fantasy record keeper mobile game. And you had these tasks that you had to do, and they were just super monotonous all day. Very, very click here, click there, click there, click here, click there, click there. So I actually did create a BlueStacks bot, a bot on BlueStacks that's essentially, it's just a script. It's just a clicking on the screen script. And that would allow me to kind of run it in the background. I could walk away for an hour, 2 hours, go do what I need to do and come back. And part of me just kind of wanted to see if I could do it. And part of me was like, look, I know that I could sit here and do this all day long. And it wasn't for monetary rewards or anything like that. It was just to kind of level up your characters and stuff. But I could see somebody doing something like that possibly in cornucopias. And if they make the task too simple, I think it'll be very, very easy for the average person to create a bot. But if they make them more involved, I think it's going to take, a real developer to develop something like that. However, they do that and they sell them for $5 out there for like aim bots and things like that. So I don't know. I agree. The nice thing about the game being not developed yet is nobody has a chance to see it and to know how to develop those bots. So I think we have a little bit of time. And with everything that the team has talked about, they're going to be on it. Remember, their minting system that they developed in-house is one of the better ones on the planet. And we were getting a lot of bots in the first few. They changed things up and subsequent ones. So it's kind of, I feel like it's a game of keeping up with the Joneses. That's the entire internet, right? Yeah. I mean, let's face it. You've got pop-up ads, and they came up with pop-up blockers, and then you got spam and you got anti-spam, and you got viruses and you got antiviruses. So is it something that's there? Yes. Do we all need to be aware of it? Absolutely. Do I think the team's aware of it? 1,000%. But it'll certainly be interesting to see how all that develops.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Yeah, I think when you were talking about monotonous stuff, I mean, I don't know. That's basically, if we've all gamed and we know stuff like macros, it's like, well, I can make one key on my keyboard do this if I just program it correctly. I mean,
is that a bot?
Well, no, it's a macro.
Technically, it is.
I guess, technically it is. I mean, if you were gonna cut down corn or something like that, and
exactly,
you can just I'm gonna make my Stream Deck button do this 1,000 times. Just go this way and just keep cutting. Just keep cutting corn. And I don't know.
So that's my question: is where do you draw the line?
Well, I don't know if that's cheating. I mean, is that cheating,
exactly.
or is that just using technology to benefit your technology?
So,
where is that line?
Yeah,
exactly.
Where is that
by
line?
That rationale, those AI bots that do the aiming is just using technology to increase and enhance your technology. I mean, it's one of those kind of esoterical questions that it's like, some people would see using a macro as cheating. I don't really. I don't think a lot of people would, but at some point it gets to the point where we kind of all consider it cheating, and the team's going to have to decide that, right? And they'll say, all right, we at least got to stop the people that are doing this, and hopefully they'll be able to create some mechanism for it.
I'm going to have to watch that video. I saw Kef had posted it over in general chat, I believe. Too over in our Discord.
In the Corn Mafia Discord?
Yeah. Is it the one, Jaren? Is that the one? Summit reaches safe FPS gaming AI anti-cheat. Is that the one, Scruff?
Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me, let's see. Yeah. And actually, he's reviewing another YouTuber that did the video. And I'm sorry, I didn't have time to find the actual YouTuber that did the original video. That's probably the one you want to watch.
Okay.
But this one definitely gets you there.
Yeah, I had
Summit Reacts. Yeah.
I had watched, and I think we brought this up in one of our other this is when we were talking about AI in games. In one of our other Twitter spaces maybe a month ago, about this gentleman he was playing what's that car game that Kev was playing the other night that hits the ball with Rocket League. So he made an AI bot that could play Rocket League better than anybody. He just let it go, and the car would play Rocket League and never miss. Never miss a ball, never miss a goal. And from what I found out that when he was playing that match was all done by other AI developers. They all made their own vehicle AI driven. So they were basically playing AI against AI, but there's no monetary value, obviously, in that.
So my question is, where's the fun in that? I get doing it just to see if you can do it, but once you've created that and it's just AI playing against AI, I don't know.
I guess
If there's no,
I guess the fun would be if there was money involved,
sure.
Yeah, because
sure.
then you get rich.
right? It's like I built
Making money is fun.
right.
Yeah.
I'm cheating the game because I'm doing. I made a bot, but then you got to be technically advanced. Yeah. But then again, you may be able to have ChatGPT 4 say, "Hey, I need to make a bot that plays this game. Can you write me the code?"
Oh, that's
Well-
scary, man.
And
Yeah.
look, my ultimate goal is to create some sort of automated mechanism. You want to call it a bot? Okay, that's fine. But where I can just run it on my computer and I walk away and it's making me money 24 hours a day. That's how I started mining Bitcoin back in 2012.
Right. Well,
Man, OG.
I'm wondering if Cornucopias is going to turn into just a bot game, and I hope not.
I think they're gonna use the AI to counteract the bots.
Yes, AI to detect AI. That's
And our
next
AI
level.
will be superior because, like Scruffy said, they've already shown that they have, incredible prowess when it comes to building out tech. So, I mean, they came like last to the party. I mean, they minted in October of what was it? October 2021, right? Was their first mint? Well, hopefully someone corrects me if I'm wrong. But in any case, they showed up like 9 months after everyone and then made a better minting tech than everyone.
Actually, I think it was like March of 21,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's when the first bubble jet came out, right?
March of 21?
Yeah, that's when I
I
kind of
meant to say March of 22. He got me on. He said August or October of 21. I meant to say March.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's my bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Our
So they
guild
were
was
even later
founded
than I
in
thought,
October.
almost a year later.
But yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to bring up earlier, and we're way past it, we're a year past it, but it keeps coming to the front of my brain, so I'm just going to say it so I can get past it. But earlier when I was going on and on about those other guys giving NFTs a bad name, and all the doom and gloom that's kind of surrounding it, like, oh, the metaverse is dead, Disney just axed their whole metaverse department. Amidst all of that noise, we have Fortnite basically replicating custom domes for their players, one of the biggest game engines in the world, or the biggest. So that's an incredibly bullish sign for us that there are intelligent people out there that are really looking into it and see the opportunity here. And again, I know we're a year past that, so thanks for letting me get it out.
Jeez, man.
Well-
keep it in.
I was going to explode.
And I think more of these that come out, right? More people will start to play, and then they'll start to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is pretty great.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's a lot of people that were supporting metaverse that are getting out. Zuckerberg is now not tooting the metaverse horn. They're not completely out of it, but they're focused on AI. And I see definite marriages between Web3 gaming, metaverse, and AI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Disney just shut theirs down. To me, that's bananas. They have the best IPs in the whole world. They've got Marvel. They've got Star Wars. They've got all the Disney classics. When I heard they were creating their own metaverse, I was like, holy crap, that is going to take a huge chunk out of the gaming industry. I think people out there are rejoicing, going, "Are you kidding me? We don't have to compete with Disney now."
Well,
I don't want to get
hear
too
that
far.
I'm the one who landed Disney for one of the Cornucopias domes for us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I gotta say, I mean, it is a bit shocking that they would start and then stop, but I'm not too surprised because I feel like the way that people are trending, we're definitely leaning more towards the gaming and AI right now, and I think metaverse itself is going to come after those. Just because we're a little bit further away from a really cool, awesome metaverse the way people imagine it. But Disney's problem is they've got all that money and no good ideas. They don't have a good idea at the whole damn company. If you've been to Disneyland in the last decade, they haven't built a good ride in forever. I rode the new it was the new one that they did for Star Wars, and you go inside the Millennium Falcon, and they spent $1 billion making the coolest Millennium Falcon in the world, and the ride is boring. It is absolutely god awful.
Well, how old
It's
are you?
just a little virtual console. What?
Isn't that for kids? I don't know. I've never been to Disneyland or Disney World.
Oh, really?
No.
It's definitely themed more towards kids. Yeah. But they do have some good roller coasters. And if you're going to drop $1 billion on a new flagship ride, you would think that you would be able to make it good. With modern technology and everything we have, you sat in a cockpit and played like a Nintendo 64 simulation of Star Wars. I literally had more fun on the Star Wars game for Nintendo 64. Another tangent for you guys.
Jesus, man, we got to get Fryler. We have a mental health channel. I think we need to look into that. Poor Fryler.
I just had kind of a random. I don't know if it's random or not, but pertaining to the topics, what if child laborers were commissioned to write cheating software? Would that be like the worst thing on the planet?
That's
ever?
like the worst of the worst, right?
Right. It was a terrifying idea. I was like, what if you got a bunch of little kids, banging out code in there, just to be able to allow other kids to cheat and proliferate it. And I don't know.
And so then when you're shutting down scammers, you're actually making children starve.
Yeah.
These are innocent children trying to scam you out of your money. Like, you got to give them a couple bucks. Like, man, this shit just got really complex all of a sudden.
They got to eat.
Exactly.
I think if we got children writing code, I think they have a good opportunity in life if they're that young writing code.
If they could get out of this sweatshop, you know what I'm saying? But we're wasting a beautiful mind right there.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Maybe cornucopias can get some sort of work release program where they can import them to U.S., pay them a fair wage, and allow them to write anti-cheating code.
Man, it's like we should just, it'd be like a genius visa, like, are you good enough at video games? Come to America.
See? This guy gets it.
Yeah, he gets it.
Just to be clear, though, like, I can make my kid play the game and I don't have to pay him, right?
No, you don't have to pay
Well,
the
that's
child.
Child labor is okay if it's your kid. That's where the line is.
It's okay if it's your child. But don't.
I just legally need to know I have priors. I can't risk this again. So.
Well, don't worry. Don't worry about the priors. We're not going to look into you. But I think that's a good point too. I mean, if they're having fun, and they're putting food on the table for you, that's fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to put some corn on the table. Yeah. Empire and Chiaz probably have a little labor farm over there.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'll tell you what, something that just occurred to me when you guys were talking about like children and your own kids and things like that. There are different laws for different, at least in the U.S., right? You can work at 15, I think, in a lot of states. It depends on the state, but you can work at 15, but you can't work past a certain amount of hours. When I was 14 and going to school, they would let me work, but it couldn't be past midnight on any day, and it couldn't be more than 30 hours. So, and I don't know if those are still the rules or not. I hadn't looked into child labor laws for like ever, but I do have a source confirming that in the background. But my point is we as gamers sometimes get in super huge long sessions. So technically a 15-year-old playing a video game, 60 hours a week, which I had been known to do oftentimes when I was that age, could be considered, breaking those child labor laws. And to me, there's a big difference in something like that versus having 7-year-olds in, sweatshops in third world countries. So I don't know if that gives anybody food for thought or anybody wants to chime in on whether or not, what they think is okay or not okay, but it just occurred to me.
What about movies? I mean, they have children in movies and they have laws set for those kids, and some of those kids are 5 years old.
And every one of them comes out messed up, man.
Okay, I've just been told by a ninja that child labor laws in the U.S. And I can't confirm this. This is not legal advice. Do your own research. But that child labor laws do not apply to self-employed or entrepreneurs. Meaning, if you're your own company, or if you're just, doing money for yourself and you're not working for someone else, that those laws do not apply, again, at least in the United States.
Right.
That would make sense, because I was going to, in response
labor.
to your, yeah, that's what I was going to say. In response to your, like the 17-year-old kid working 60 hours a week on a game, unless he's employed, he's like a hobbyist, right? So unless he's like on somebody's payroll somewhere and they're having him log into the game, then yeah, where is that line, right? When does it become labor?
Right.
So,
That's
and you see, go ahead.
Isn't labor when you work for somebody else? I mean, I probably have to look that up because I'm not really sure. But
I think labor is just any work. But you see these kids going on Shark Tank that created businesses when they're like 9 years old or something like that. And I often sit there and wonder, man, it takes a lot of hours to run a business. How do they get around that? And I guess it turns out they don't have to. But
that's a good point, Scruffy, because we were just talking about before the show that like 10-year-old that made millions streaming Minecraft. So I hadn't thought about it. At what point is it like, oh, my child prodigy built this following? And then at what point is it the parents are making him keep it up because it's, financially a good idea for them? Kind of like with the child actors, a lot of them are kind of forced into it by their parents and then end up, not living the best lives because of it.
Right. I mean, because that child doesn't have any right to that money if he's living with his parents, right? I think that's how.
And that brings up the question: is he working for his parents in that? Like, is he his own entrepreneur if he's a child star, or is he actually working for his parents?
Exactly. Even in the instance of like a kid, like that kid that made millions unboxing toys online, like. Yeah, it was his personality and something he wanted to do naturally, but the parents had to set up the camera. They have to upload this content. They have to market it. You know what I mean? Like, no 6-year-old out here is doing all that on their own. You know what I mean?
Of course, you know how many times growing up I told my father, "You're not the boss of me."
And it turns out legally.
Well, I'm just thinking because, when movie stars and children movie stars had all those problems, now like the child is still under the parent's custody. I guess, I don't know if I can use that word, if that word's correct, but the child has really like no rights to his money until he's of legal age or something like that. So, I'm wondering if that's going to work its way into gaming and stuff like that. It's parents taking their children's profits, which could be considered.
Well, definitely. Probably. I would imagine, you know what I mean?
Well, think about this, though. On Web3, a kid could go create his own DeFi wallet, right? And he could go take his lunch money or his, money he made mowing lawns or selling lemonade, and he could go buy some crypto or NFTs, or maybe they're just playing free to play, right? They go create an account. They're free to play. They have their DeFi wallet. They earn a bunch of gold in the game. Then they cash it out for Kopi. How are you going to stop that? How are you going to regulate that? How's a parent going to, police that?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know how he's going to get the money off.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that would be the only thing is he could keep it inside this ecosystem and you couldn't really police it, but he's going to need an off ramp if he wants to be able to cash out to real money somewhere.
Right.
Okay, there's two things there. For one, as Ninja pointed out again, he could just wait until his 18th birthday. It stays in there. It's matured or whatever. But I agree. I'd like to pair that, though, because I heard you guys in the 2-week links talking about Rob about off-ramps. And I agree, that is a very, very real problem right now. But more and more places are taking crypto as payment.
Yeah.
If you wanted to trade your ADA for Kopi, and you wanted to trade your Kopi if you wanted to trade your gold for Kopi, trade your Kopi for ADA. Trade your ADA for Bitcoin. There is a plethora of places out there that you can, essentially buy actual goods and services with Bitcoin. And I believe that's only going to grow.
Do you need any kind of, I'm not sure if I need any identification to put money up on, I think I did, right? To put money up on Coinbase.
Right? Oh yeah. You got the KYC through Coinbase.
Right. So,
but you could be mining your crypto or playing a game like Scruffy said, and you could get your crypto without an onboard. or without KYCing.
Right. So I guess the biggest thing is getting it off. Getting it off.
That's always the biggest.
There's a way, right?
Right.
If you're not obsessed with getting cash in hand.
Right.
Well, and the other, let's face it, and I don't know because I've never used one, but they now even have in a lot of countries. In fact, I just read an article the other day about one of the South American countries putting in 150 of these Bitcoin ATMs. Where
I live in a podunk farm town, and there's one at the corner store 10 feet from my house.
Do you have to KYC? Have you ever used it?
I haven't used it, but it sits right there at the front counter, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's your homework. That's your homework for today. Go try and take some Bitcoin, just a little tiny bit, like $10.
This is Satoshi.
Yeah, and see if you have to KYC, because I got news. If you don't have to KYC on those things, could be a game changer. You pay crazy rates, but again, if you're a kid and you got $100,000 in Kopi sitting there, and you want to try and cash it out via Bitcoin, then I'm just saying it might be worth it.
Yeah, I know there's one of those
18%
machines.
or whatever.
There's one of those machines at my convenience store too, but I've never tried to use it because it was like the rates on it were staggering. So,
but I mean, even in third world countries now, like I said, I've been reading articles that some of these developing countries are putting those things in, and with people working for wages where they can play a game and earn more than they could, out doing labor, whether they're children or not. That could be a big factor. Like you said, getting it in and out, that's the hard part right now. But, every day that goes by, new things come out, and more people are accepting of crypto, and, who knows? You might be able to go to the supermarket in 5-10 years, and you just put in your ledger, and or who knows?
Yeah, I would love to see the day where we're no longer just trying to get back to fiat, right? When it's just so universally accepted that there's no need to. You could spend your ADA, you could spend your Bitcoin at the grocery store, at the gas station conveniently.
well, I'm sure there's places online too you can purchase things too with cryptocurrency, or at least there should be.
Yeah, you can buy vacations and stuff with ADA right now.
Right. So I don't think there's anything stopping a child from working a cornucopia's land plot and turning it into Kopi and then ADA and out to whatever platform he wants to order himself a brand new car online.
I was going to say, my buddy bought a Tesla with Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
and soon you'll be able to do that all within the Cardano ecosystem.
yeah. So that, I guess that's the whole thing about why everybody wants to do, cryptocurrencies, because it's kind of anonymous well, it's not really anonymous. You can track things, but I mean, if you can get the money off some way without it being traced to you, that's, that's a big incentive.
Well, and yes, remember, trackable doesn't necessarily mean that it's not anonymous, right? Anonymous just means you're not identifying it with a particular person.
That's right.
Yes, everything on the blockchain is trackable, but if you don't know who that wallet belongs to, you have no recourse.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start up a labor farm. I think we can. I got a message yesterday from somebody. Somebody in China.
We rationalized for ourselves, right, that this is okay.
This is great. Yeah, I got a DM yesterday from some guy in China. So he was.
I was about to say, you got the contact info, right? I remember.
Let's go for
How
it.
much are we paying a kid? Because I think I could do better.
I'm not worried about it. Let's not worry about it. Let's let them worry about it. It's not. We have nothing to do with that, right? I got my iPhone from him, so. I'm sure there's a
man.
I think if I took the back of my iPhone, it'd probably say, "Help me."
Right. Tiny little finger painting.
Yeah, somebody just scratch a little. Help me, please.
Just don't try to use a VPN or watch TikTok.
Right.
Oh man, they're going to be fining you like crazy for that, right?
Oh.
Or they're trying to impose a law here in America that would fine you like $20,000 if you get caught accessing sites with a VPN.
Yep, a bipartisan bill just hit the floor, supposedly.
Yikes.
That it's some sort of information act, and they're trying to stop people from accessing essentially embargoed sites. But technically, the way it's written, if you use a VPN to go places where they don't think you should,
Look,
I don't know. We'll see.
Look, it makes complete sense. All right, crypto is dangerous. If you're accessing one of these sites, you could lose money. I'm going to charge you $20,000 to save you from losing money.
It's been a while since I popped up my Tor browser. Maybe I should start using that again. It's awful slow. Yeah.
Did you just incriminate yourself?
Look, people are always going to find a way. Okay, if it's not VPNs and if it's not whatever, they're gonna, like you said, Tor sites, torrent sites. They're gonna build another mechanism to do it. That's the other thing, policing it. If you've got 7 billion, if you've got 7 million people using VPN services just in one country or something like that, how are you going to track down all those people? The time and resources to do that. They're going after the big institutions. It's not the little guy, right? And guess what? The little guys are going to continue to use it as long as the technology's there. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right. I think you're right on that one. It's almost like like people that don't pay their taxes. They don't really go after the small people usually. They usually go after the bigger fish, the people that are over like, I haven't paid my taxes for $300,000, those people.
They'll let you go 10 years and then bust you.
Yeah, they might, but.
It happened to a guy I know.
Yeah.
I got a buddy who hadn't paid his taxes in 11 years.
Oh, he's due to get busted.
Yeah.
I told him, you give me a call when you're in the Hooskow and I'll come visit.
Yeah, they usually. I don't think they put you in jail. I think they just set up some kind of payment problem.
The guy that I know, he's in federal jail. Yeah, he went to federal prison.
Yeah, how much did he owe?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably a lot.
But I know he didn't pay for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably.
But he worked a labor job. I don't know. I mean, maybe he did other things like bought and sold property that he never accounted for. I don't know his whole situation.
Yeah. Well, it probably could have been in the hundreds of thousands of dollars,
But it's like you guys say, they're probably not busting everybody, but it would suck to be the person that gets made an example of.
Right. Jesus, I think the police are here. I got to go. No.
Yeah, I swatted you.
Yep, there we go. Somebody swatted me. Boy.
I just want to say that if the NSA or any other government agency is listening right now, I always pay my taxes. I have paid every amount due, and I am in perfect 100% standing.
Excellent.
Yeah, I already mentioned earlier that I pay taxes too, but it's probably worth repeating.
Yeah, I don't pay taxes anymore, so I don't know what to do about that. I pay my property tax. That got to pay that shit.
Didn't you make a TikTok on how to avoid taxes?
Yeah, how to avoid taxes. Yeah, run really fast. Run fast. No, but you can't. I had brought that up in that interview that Scruffy was mentioning about property taxes. It doesn't matter whether you own property or not. It's really not yours, because if you don't pay the taxes, then the house ain't yours anymore. So
Yep.
you don't really own much.
That's why I think ownership is so important. Like I don't understand how these people, especially those intelligent people like we talked about earlier, can just completely aside crypto and NFTs and all of that stuff. Like there's no value being provided to the world by crypto. Who was it that just it was a big name. They literally said that crypto provides no value to society. And I was like, what the hell? How can you say that? Like nobody wants to be in control of their own identity. Nobody wants to be in control of their own money. Like you want to keep going to the DMV and the bank and hoping that nothing ever goes wrong, because it's probably not gonna, it's just crazy to me.
Well, and again, I hate to be spreading any kind of naysayers at all, but I did read an article a while back about a lawyer that argued that you never really own the artwork for an NFT. You never really own the NFT due to the fact that it's on the blockchain and all these things. And technically, he could have a point. I don't know. He made some very compelling arguments. But let's face it, ownership is what we decide it is. Just like value, things that have value. Why does Bitcoin have value? Because we decided it did. You're right. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros. But we all agree, when we all agree that you can trade me some ones and zeros for a car or some groceries or whatever, then it does have value, period. And if nobody else can take those away from you, i.e. they're locked in a smart contract or a wallet, those mechanisms don't exist, then you can argue you own it, whether or not you own the intellectual rights to it or not. I think what he was talking about more applies to if I know somebody when the Bored Apes came out, and they were real hot about a year ago. There was a guy in California that started a restaurant, and he used his Bored Ape as the logo for his restaurant. And that was the big thing is you own the artwork, right? And this guy argued it didn't. But the fact of the matter is he got value out of that because nobody challenged him. Nobody came and said, no, you can't do that. Right? Because the people creating the project want to proliferate the value of what they're selling. And so they give you the right. They say you have that right to do that. So intrinsically, there is actual real value to all of these things, no matter what people say, because we give it value. That's my opinion. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, absolutely. If you end up coming across that video again, I would like to hear it too, because I'm one of those people that I like to, even if I don't agree at face value with what someone's saying, I got to look into it and still see for myself and come to a solid conclusion. Because to me, I felt like, and that's a big catching point for me, is the ownership. So I feel like if I can move my tokens into my own wallet, and if I can go and spit up dataless anytime I want and restart up the full node, and my wallet is in my custody and nobody else can access it, I feel like in my mind that is what I define as ownership. But maybe there's something in that video that would open my eyes to something I'm not seeing. So if you happen to find it, that would be great. But I'm of a like mind like you, that we kind of define it ourselves in a lot of ways. Just like a lot of people feel they own their home because they're always going to pay their taxes and nobody but the government could come and take it from them,
Agreed. And it was actually an article, in case you guys are looking for it or searching for it. It was an article that I read, but it was probably, 6 months ago. Me running across it again is not likely. I apologize.
No worries. I'll try to Google it and see if I can churn anything up. But I could definitely see more of the IP side of things for sure. That's something I didn't even consider with so many of the NFTs that I've bought, and I've seen discussions come up after the fact. And I don't plan to necessarily use them in that aspect. But I mean, like you said, if you don't have the right to use it in any way you see fit, do you really have, full ownership?
Well, and think about things like music as well. Let's say you wanted to use a music clip in a video that you're doing on your YouTube channel, right? YouTube has algorithms that check on whether or not you own the music. Well, they've got music NFTs right now. And a lot of people think that if they download and buy a music NFT, then they own the rights to that. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. I don't personally plan on using them that way either. I'm just like you. But if people, depending on the way people are planning on using these things, if they're using as a stored value or an investment or, something to play a game with, I don't think it's really an issue. I like you just like to get both sides to every story and then make my own conclusion instead of just listening to some YouTuber, talk about it for 5 minutes and then going, oh yeah, okay, I just blindly agree with that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. I keep using the flat earth thing too, but actually when I first started seeing people talk about flat earth, I had to go and research it because I'm like thinking to myself, well, honestly, where am I getting my information from? I better go verify everything. And it wasn't very hard to verify to me that the earth is round, but I had to go do my own due diligence and come to a real conclusion. Before I was going to say that, I lost a thought. Damn it, go for it.
So you were actually you were actually on the tipping point? You didn't know if it was or wasn't? Is that getting at, Friley? You had to find out for yourself?
It was a buddy of mine, and he was just a fanatic about it. And I came across all his postings online. And rather than just make fun of him with everyone else, I decided to do a little research, even though in my heart I felt like I'm going to come to the conclusion that the earth is round from just a plethora of my own personal experiences and the way I view the universe, but it's also, verifiable.
But it brings up a good point. At one point in time, everybody thought the Earth was flat, right? So we don't know what we don't know today. And by educating people and people actually, doing some research and going, wait a minute, maybe there are ways we can prove or disprove this, then I think that's a great conversation to have. Stein has hypothesized, he said in the video the other day, that he hypothesized we might be in a simulation. Well, can anybody prove it or disprove it? I can't disprove it. So can I say he's wrong? No, I can't. In fact, I sent him an article I guess it was a video, I think. No, it was an article that hypothesized how one could break out of the simulation if we are in fact in a simulation.
Yeah, I've actually thought about that quite a bit since he brought it up. And again, I don't actually agree that we're in a simulation, but at the same time, yeah, I got to agree.
I don't either.
And I think it might be semantics, because in a way, we are in a simulation, right? Because whatever you imagine the world is in your head is what the world is to you. And that could be entirely different from the person standing 2 feet to your right. You guys could live in entirely different worlds. It's all, part of your own making. But I don't believe that we're in like a simulation where someone's controlling and pulling cogs and things like that. We're organic matter. I'm a living creature that if I got stabbed to the heart, I will cease to exist right now. And nothing's going to change that.
I will have to say, I think I got an idea for the next Twitter Spaces. Like, what's the title? We have no title. The title of today's Twitter Space is called Segway.
It's going to be
was that
an image of a bomb.
Well, what was that?
That was my dog.
Oh, I thought that was Ninja barking orders at you again.
No. She saw a squirrel. She got squirreled. Squirrel.
Oh yeah, we can segue.
I thought you were gonna say the next the title of the next one is "Are we in a simulation?"
Oh no, I can't get into that. I don't know. That could be either a very, very short one, because like this one here, I thought it was going to be. We could talk on this for 3 hours on child labor farms and cheaters, but
you blew past both of those in about 27 minutes.
Yeah, I did, man.
I was paying attention.
It's hard coming up with these things. I want to ask everybody. I want to ask everybody, please, if you have ideas for a Twitter space, put the idea in there. Tag Cornucopias and tag me. What is it? What am I? Chef Bicky? Is that what I am over there? Yeah. At Chef Bicky. That's me, Stein. So we can save it, because I don't know if you had tweeted anything last week, but if it goes just to, not Cornucopias, I'm sorry, Corn Mafia Guild. I keep saying Cornucopias. Corn Mafia Guild and Chef Bicky or Freiler. That way we can get some ideas for our next Twitter space. Or you could DM me if you have my DMs.
Freiler, I want to know if you think an ant farm is a simulation.
Is an ant farm a simulation?
Yeah.
No.
Then I don't think we live in a simulation either.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Come on.
I think
if someone classified an ant farm as a simulation, then I could argue that there is, some sort of higher power being that said, hey, let's see what happens when we throw a bunch of human, or a bunch of DNA that evolves into some other creature that evolves into some other creature that eventually evolves into humans, sea monkeys, whatever you want to call it. Same thing. But anyway, I was just curious. Sorry, I didn't mean to get crazy off topic. I know we were already off topic, but
yeah. No, to me, I feel like the simulation is like, there's got to be a digital aspect, right? Like somewhere there's massive servers and we're all uploaded into this technological creation, which we live in an almost equally crazy thing, which is the organic version of that.
Well,
if you're waiting for more of a statement, that's where it stops.
Oh, that's where it stops. That's it.
Yeah,
well, I don't want to get into are we in a simulation. I think that's
Well, you started the simulation, so now we're stuck in it. It's like you said, you created it, and now we're here.
I didn't start it. I'm not the one who started this conversation.
But if eventually we're going to have the conversation about simulation, right?
All right.
In a world where everything can happen, eventually we're going to have this Twitter space.
This is what I said in the video that Scruffy had pointed out.
Did you really forget my name?
No, I'm thinking. I didn't want to put the name of my video in there.
I'm kidding.
Okay. This is my premise on the whole thing. This is my thoughts. It's not what I truly believe. It's just a thought experiment. Like I said in the video, whatever humans think of, we tend to invent, or we are working on that invention. Whatever we can think of, there's people working on it. You know, we were talking about wormholes, so they made a holographic wormhole in the Google computer there, the quantum computer. So they made a holographic wormhole. We thought about the fly and teleportation and stuff like that. So they have been able to teleport particles from one point to another. Whatever we think of, we can make. So if we are thinking that there is a simulation, that must mean that somebody has already made the simulation, so we are in it because we are thinking that it is possible.
But does it have to mean that they already made it?
Well, and does it have to mean we're in it is the one I have a problem with.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but there's a 50-50 chance that we are.
Did you know that 70% of statistics are made up? I'm just kidding.
I believe you made that one up, but yeah, it's probably not wrong.
Well, if you, I know this is way off topic and people may leave, but it's you got to think that if we are in a simulation, we are not the first simulation. The simulation has been started, and then somebody in that simulation has made a simulation. And in that simulation, somebody had made a simulation. So it's kind of...
There's a Rick and Morty episode about this.
So it's...
I think Stein's seen Inception one too many times.
Well,
hey, real quick, I just want to ask, why did we go right past lightsabers then? We're building cool shit. I agree. We got planes. We're like, screw it. We don't need intergalactic travel. Let's just start working on the simulation. But why didn't we stop and at least make lightsabers?
I just want to throw this out there.
I can tell you that's not possible.
The lightsabers?
Well,
yes,
Stein says if we can
I don't want to hear about
build it. Yeah.
How did I end up a speaker? I didn't volunteer.
Yeah, you did. You requested.
All right. Well, let's hear from the physicist on this. Let's
hear from someone who knows.
Yeah, let's hear from somebody who knows about maybe a simulation.
Well, I don't know about a simulation. I think I don't know. Do we feel miserable enough to be in a simulation?
Yes.
I guess since Harambe was killed, I guess we could be in one.
What?
I don't know.
What?
Everything goes down the drain since they killed this damn ape.
Oh my God.
Well, you never know. I mean, I really, KB is a physicist. He has a degree in physics. I want to know if you think it is possible that we are in a simulation.
Of course it is possible.
See?
Why shouldn't it be possible? Maybe we are just a big neural network. Could be. Who knows? Maybe we are just, I don't know, placement holders within a big computer.
Right.
We will never know.
I agree it's possible. I just don't think it's likely.
It isn't likely, but it's not impossible.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed. I have been redeemed. Thank you, physicist. You can.
You're welcome.
But lightsabers are impossible. You're gonna shit on my dreams. All right. I see how it is.
Hey, Freiler, I'm assuming you saw the video of the new retractable lightsaber that Disney showed off about 2 weeks ago.
No, is it awesome?
Oh, it's so awesome, dude. I'll DM it to you. It's fantastic. I'm like, shut up and take my money. It's phenomenal.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, you can't cut through metal or anything with it. But hey,
Not yet.
Someday.
Yeah, I hold out. It will happen.
Well, I think science fiction gets a few things wrong. I mean, like when they had changed a lot of things, like when they when you fire a laser gun or a laser particle weapon or whatever, you can see the beam go from here to here, but that's not how it works. It's instantaneous from one point to the other, and it's not in a
not instant. Yeah, not instantaneous.
But you don't see the light go from one place to the other. You just see a beam. And that's
I'm sorry to bust all your bubbles. There's no sound in outer space.
No, there's no sound in outer space either.
Man, I know. So you can't even hear all the explosions.
Right?
My wife always goes crazy when I start shouting, "There is no sound."
Yeah, I do too.
So what if there was an atomic explosion? It would just be completely silent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no sound.
You need a medium. Sound is a wave, and a wave needs a medium to transport itself, to transport the energy.
Would you still be vaporized?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
no.
you'd have radiation waves, wouldn't you?
Radiation, but no pressure, because pressure also needs a medium.
I got to tell you guys a quick story about my buddy's wife. So they're watching some movie or whatever. They're watching something. It was based on the space shuttle though, and it was like a real life movie. And he brought up the question, well, how do they go to the bathroom in space? And she's like, well, they just press the gravity button, right? And he's like, there is no gravity button. You have to have some sort of force. So again, common misconceptions: no sound in space and no artificial gravity unless you generate it somehow with some sort of force.
That would be so. I watched a video of a lady in one of those space stations, and she was like crawling into her wires to sleep. And she's like, you can sleep this way. And she flipped upside down. And she's like, I can sleep this way. She's like, you have no sensation of upside down or not. And that blew my mind. The little things you don't think about.
I think about them all the time. Jeez. I mean,
you thought about how astronauts sleep already?
Sure. Yeah, man.
Well, I bet I thought of cool things you didn't. So we're even.
Geez, man.
I thought of lightsabers.
Lightsabers. Oh,
yeah.
Well, it's like.
I mean, I saw them first, but I thought of them after.
Well, I had when I. Okay, I'll bring this up. When I was very young, child, I always wondered what would happen if you put a light inside a tube that was mirrored on all sides, and what would happen to the light if you turn it off and there was no way for the light to lose its energy. Lose its.
Are you assuming a perfect vacuum and no energy dissipation when it's reflected on either side?
Right.
Then it would go indefinitely.
Right.
But that's not happening.
Well, no. And I had brought it up to one of my teachers. I think I was in 7th grade or something like that. And he goes, well, if you put a hole in the end and have a little crystal, you make a laser. He said, so you thought about making a laser. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he goes, here's a book on lasers. So he gave me a book on lasers. So that was my foray into lasers.
Stein and Freiler, I would just like to congratulate you guys on a phenomenal space about child labor and cheating problems in P2E.
Yes, you can see how we ended up at lasers so many times.
Freaking laser beams, sharks with laser beams already.
Yeah, well,
any conversation you're ever in, if you guys get stumped, just talk about lasers. It doesn't even matter if it's on point. Everyone's going to be so impressed that they won't even care.
Right. Let's talk about the old light amplification by stimulus emission to radiation. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I learned in 7th grade. That and dioxide.
Now he's busting out acronyms.
Yes.
Are we just busting out acronyms that we know?
FBI,
like self-contained underwater breathing apparatus?
Yes.
I before E except after C.
Oh my God! What a Twitter space!
The first vowel does the walking, folks. The second vowel does the talking.
Well, at least we're a bunch of idiots, and we can talk about nonsense for an hour and a half.
Don't insult the audience like that.
No, I'm talking about us who are talking. Me, you, and
Oh, okay, that's
Scruffy,
fair.
we can talk about a bunch of shit for an hour and a half to keep the space going for 90 minutes.
For the next Twitter space, I'm passing out Ritalin to everybody. Just saying.
Yeah. Jesus.
Including myself.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that may help me.
Can I crush it and snort it? Yeah. Jesus. That's the best
I'm
way
not gonna.
That's the best way to
That's your
take
own
Ritalin.
life choice.
Yeah, that's the best way to
I'm
take
not gonna
Ritalin.
tell you how to live your life.
I'm
Yeah.
not
That's
gonna
the second best way to take Ritalin.
I'm not going to tell you how to take Ritalin. You take it any way you
Boof it.
want.
I'm sorry. Did somebody say suppository?
I said boof it, yes.
Well, I want to hear more from KB on anything that has to do with physics for the next 4 minutes.
How come suppositories work faster than railing it?
I don't know. What
Just
you're
kidding. Don't
talking
answer
about.
I
that.
have no idea.
I don't know how
What?
I don't even know how you came up with that experiment.
I would rather talk about space pirates.
Jesus, right? Not ass pirates. Come on.
I don't know what to talk about in regards of physics. I've been so off on my physics side. I've just been a project manager for 4 years now.
Man, you lost your way. That's
They
not,
did.
that's
He
not the
just
way.
had a question.
That's
He
not-
had a question about osmosis right there.
That's not the way.
The suppository. How does it, get there faster? He threw you up the softball, KB.
All right, there we go. We just lost the rest of our. We just lost the rest of
is
our
that a-
audience. That's it. We're down to 12.
Yeah, we did.
Is that a shark we just jumped?
Oh boy.
I couldn't tell.
I don't know what we're talking about today. I don't know. We only got 6 minutes left, so we're gonna talk about something. We got to talk about. Hey, we got a Dow coming up. Scruff, you want to talk about that for 3 minutes, Scruff?
Oh my God! So only 3 minutes? No,
That's
yeah.
it.
Dow coming up. KB certainly can talk about it. He and I have been working together frantically, and he did some great work last night. And I don't know, KB, anything that you want to touch on?
Well, everything is ready and set up besides the whitelist Excel files. We are in the process of creating them and cross-check if anybody tries to cheat the system. But other than that, the tokens are ready in NFT Maker. Policy is ready. We are verified on JPEG Store, but hidden. Everything is set up and ready to go.
Let me ask you one question. What is this Dow for?
Oh, it's for buying land NFTs to increase our footprint on the overall cornucopias landscape within the first 3 zones that will be playable.
Excellent. Excellent. And this is for Cornucopias Guild or Corn Mafia Guild or the night? Who is this for? Is it for us?
It's for the Corn Mafia Guild, of course. Is there anybody in here who's not in the Mafia?
Yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. We got Empire and
2 weaklings.
Don Luciano. He's by himself.
Chiaz.
Don's he's probably sleeping. Don's probably
Yeah, we got like an
Probably
even
lying in
split
bed.
between Knights and
Don's
Mafia.
Don's probably taking a nap. Don's got the
No,
Don's got
it's,
the,
I see two.
Don's got the most
I see
relaxing.
2 Knights and 11 Mafia members. So Freiler, I'm not sure what kind of base 9 math you're using, but yeah.
So if you look at it on paper, Roman numerals for 2 looks just like 11.
Okay, I did see. I knew there was a path.
Yep, there we go. Good old Alaskan math for you. How many? Tyler, how many seals do you see? I see 2 seals.
Do I count all the dead ones?
Do I count on the dead? Yeah, right. Do I count all the dead ones we hammered? Oh boy.
I told you I used to do a lot of clubbing back in Alaska.
Oh yeah.
But bump.
Yeah, we thought. Yeah. Did you do a lot of clubbing? I certainly did. Yeah. Did you take rolls? What kind of rolls we talking about? The kind you roll? Yeah, we skinned them and rolled them. We skinned them.
Shots with seals. Yep.
All right, kiddos. We got a few minutes. I want to let everybody say goodbye that wants to say goodbye and promote anything that they want to promote. So go ahead, Scruff. You first.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for showing up. Had a blast. It was weird. It was wild. It was wacky. It was all over the place, but enjoyed it as always. Mint is going down on the 31st. Check in the Corn Mafia server if you want more details. And thank these guys for allowing me to come up and spew all kinds of nonsense ad nauseum.
All right, excellent. How about you, Fryler? You want to say anything and promote anything that you're involved with?
Yeah, real quick. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Stein. Always a pleasure to be up here with you every week. So thank you for hosting this for the Corn Mafia. And I want to say thank you to KB, Empire, Eric, Chiaz, 2 Weeks Links, Meta, Feedy, Don, Steve, So. You guys are here every week, always showing your support. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank everybody as well. You already said all their names, so I don't have to go ahead and read those off. But I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank Scruffy for coming up and filling up the time. You can always count on that. If we're dead on a subject, just pull Scruff up, and we can figure this all out. Thanks, KB, for your input on my theory. My thought experiment. And thank you, Fryler, for coming up. Fryler has his on YouTube, Cryptorama. Scruffy has his on YouTube, Scruffy Live 365. I have my YouTube channel with 7. It's called 2 Week Links. And I want to thank everybody and have a great day.
This has been a Corn Mafia Guild Twitter Space with your hosts, Stein and Fryler. Please join us every Wednesday at the same time, 5 p.m. UTC. We would like to thank all of our guests for their insights and input on today's topics. We also would like to thank all of you, our listeners, for taking time out from your busy day to join us. A full audio version of this conversation will be provided on our YouTube channel. You can find out more about the Corn Mafia Guild at our website, cornmafiaguild.io. So, until next week, thank you again, and have a great day.